Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are putting the spotlight on this. This is new for 2022. We have Masters of the Universe Stratos, the Winged Warrior, featuring modern posing and retro play. Okay, so this, I believe, is the second retail release of Stratos. The first release of the figure, we saw him in his traditional gray body, whereas this one is the much more unique flesh-toned body. I said this in a previous video that I saw this at the store maybe like a month ago, and I kind of passed up on it just because I wasn't really feeling this version of the character. But then maybe like a week and a half ago, I saw this guy at the stores, and I kind of changed my mind. I kind of felt that I needed him. So here I am, and we're going to check this guy out. On the back of the box, we have a nice, cool image. The powerful, agile, and a natural leader, the mighty Stratos battles evil all over Eternia. So over here we have the flesh-colored Stratos as he's fighting crazy sea monster, and here's He-Man. So this is modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe action figures. In terms of his play features, you could clip the wings on his arms, and he twists into powerful battle positions. Some of the other figures available in this wave, new for 2022, include re-releases of He-Man, Skeletor. There's the Sorceress, which is different than the Castle Grayskull Sorceress. If I haven't posted it already, I believe I reviewed this action figure recently. There's also Buzz-Off. I still need this guy. And we're looking at Stratos right here. And then there's also Jitsu, which I believe I recently reviewed. Alright, let's get Stratos out of his little cardboard prison. Alright, we have the comic book. Alright, this one's the Challenge of Jitsu. It's pretty neat. I still have to read these mini comics. I haven't gotten around to them yet. And also included is a kind of like small one-page. It's not really of an instruction manual. This kind of shows you all the removable parts. So, you know, for many of these Masters of the Universe Origin figures, you can swap body parts. So you can remove his head, you can detach his arms. He comes apart at the waist, and then you can even remove his boots. Alright, so first impressions of Stratos while he's still in his tray. The flesh tone still kind of bothers me. I'm so used to seeing Stratos in like the all gray body that this one just really throws me off. He always just looks very naked. But I do appreciate the color scheme and the contrast in the colors. Like the red and the blue, they look great next to this like kind of like flesh tone. Same with the yellow used on the belt and on his gauntlets. Okay, so I want to say I reviewed the first release of Stratos months ago, like a long time ago. It's just, I can't remember how far back that was. So, alright, so here's his wings. You can just clip these on. There's the clip, and you just wrap them over his wrists. And you're pretty much good to go. Alright, so now that I'm looking at him, he looks a lot less naked having his wings clipped onto his arms. The sculpting on the figure, it's beautiful, same as the original release. He has a nice hairy chest. He has hairy arms also. Hairy feet. No, hairy legs. I mean, he has hairy legs. Here's his feet. He has his jetpack with those things that look like. I don't want to say what they look like. And then he has his crazy goggles and his beard or whatever it is. So yeah, here's Stratos. And if you haven't seen the first review I did on the original release of the figure, his head rotates. It's on a ball joint. His arms rotate. They can go out. There's a bicep cut. Oh no, I take it back. There's no bicep cut. What I meant to say is that there's a elbow swivel, so you can swivel at the elbow, and also bends at the elbow as well. So you have both of those. Waist swivel. He could kick. Doesn't kick up all that well, but he could kick out. His knees bend, and there's some, which also allows for a knee swivel. He has a boot cut, so he has a boot swivel there, and his feet are articulated. There's these harnesses. They unclasp here in the center and also here. So if you wanted to, you could remove this jetpack. It has those two little, like, they almost look like vibrators on his back. So yeah, here's Stratos, and if you're curious to know why he's flesh colored, I have this here. This is the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe mini comic collection. All right, so this is an awesome book. If you are a serious He-Man collector, this is something I think that you need in your library. It's published by Dark Horse Comics. It's a nice hardcover book, really, really thick. This is like heavy. This is the kind of book that if you dropped it on a bug, the bug would just like explode. So it's pretty awesome. It like compiles, you know, all the mini comics that came with the 80s toys, and it's all the artwork is original and it's reproduced beautifully, and it's nice to get the comic books at us, you know, printed up in a larger scale. So it's really awesome. I dig this book a lot, and the reason why we have this book here is because we have this. We have the flesh-colored Stratos right here, you know, as this guy is. And there's even a little side note here at the bottom. It says here, while Stratos is no longer an ally of Skeletor, as previously seen in He-Man and the Power Sword, here he is colored differently from the toy. So in the mini comics, you know, Stratos early on was flesh colored, much like this guy. So if you're curious like me as to why they released him in this different flesh tone, it's because they're paying homage to the original look in the mini comics. Much like how Teela, like here, she was blonde in some of the comic books. So this is kind of a cool little thing. You know, it's nice that they acknowledge that and they produce a toy of that version of Stratos. And since we're on the subject of Stratos, let's take out some of the other Strati, or is it Strati or Stratoses? Not sure what the plural form is. All right, so here's the flesh-colored one, which we just reviewed. Here's the first release that we got earlier last year, or earlier this year, depending on when you're watching this. And over here we have the Super 7 Stratos, which was based more so off the Filmation design. And here we have the Masters of the Universe Classic Stratos. And lastly, we have one of my favorite versions. We have the 2000X Stratos. So let's make some room for all of these. There's a lot of them. A lot of Strati or Stratoses. However you want to say the plural. Alright, so yeah. all the different kind of Stratoses. I don't have the OG one on me. I can't remember if I have that one in my collection or not. But I just grabbed the ones that were readily available. So yeah, here is the one that came out, I believe, last year or earlier this year. This is the much more traditional gray colored Stratos. And as you can see here, they're pretty much identical. The only thing difference is their color tone. I don't think any of the body pieces or their accessories are different. Their heads, even though they look identical, this one has a lighter shade of blue on the goggles. The jetpack, they look like they're identical, same shades of red. And they both have those vibrators or dildos on the back. We have the Super 7 Filmation Stratos right here. This is based off of more so his look in the cartoon. Very, very different figure engineering than these. This is a little bit more primitive. This is kind of more of a callback to the original 80s figure. I think the only thing different is that it doesn't use the rubber band to hold the legs in place. It's actually like a plastic joint. It's a nice figure. I just hate the wings. They don't clip on very well. They're always falling off. Over here, this is a wonderful figure. This is the Classics Stratos. Now, I believe I got this many years ago in a 2-pack. And the 2-pack included one DC Classics figure and one Masters of Universe Classics figure. So I believe this was a 2-pack that came with Stratos. And opposite him was Hawkman. So this is great. This is one of those things where I wasn't really into the Classics line when it was first released. And I only have a handful of Classics figures. And there's a part of me that really wants to go back and just buy a couple of key characters. Because I think they're such beautiful figures. And I believe there are a lot of collectors today who still think, this is probably for them the definitive version of the Masters of the Universe characters. Even though we have like Origins and Revelation right now, I think there's a big part of the fan community that still really stands behind the Classics. And rightfully so. These are beautiful figures. The articulation's excellent. The sculpting superb. These really took the original figures to like a completely different level. And again, this thing keeps on falling off. I hate it. Love the figure, but I just hate the accessory. This feels very, very generic. It's almost like it's almost like the quality of like a gumball machine toy. This little clip-on wing. As you can see, it just keeps on falling off. It will not stay on them. And over here we have one of my favorite versions of Stratos. This is Stratos from the 2000X line, and I love this guy. This line of action figures really spoke to me. I love the stylization, the exaggerated anatomy. The articulation's horrible on these figures, but they're just so well detailed and sculpted. They even had cool play features, like I believe this one. If you press this down, this shoots a rocket missile. And then if you press the center one, I believe it makes his wings flap, so you can pull his wings out, and then yeah, really, really, really cool. I love the 2000X line. It's probably my favorite of the Masters of the Universe action figure lines. So yeah, here's just a bunch of different Stratoses, or Strati. So if you're a big fan of Stratos, many options out there. Alright, so let's come back to this guy here. Alright, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate him? I can't remember what I gave this guy as a rating, but essentially I'd probably rate him the same as this. Right now, I'm feeling maybe like, an 8 to an 8.5. I think it's a very solid figure. Do you need this in your collection? It depends. If you're a pretty hardcore Masters fan, and you can appreciate the fact that this guy is paying homage to like the Minicomics, then yes. But if you're kind of more so a casual collector, or if you're all about more just the iconic look, you might just be happy with the gray body. I think for many collectors and many fans, this is the only Stratos they'll need. But I do applaud Mattel for going the distance, and even though it's just a simple reuse, I like the idea that they're, honoring the fact that there's cool variations that, the diehard fans can appreciate. So I think it's really cool that they gave us this. Even though it still kind of weirds me out, just seeing him like this, because it's like I said, he looks naked to me. So yeah, let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued likes, comments, and support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Later.